Hi, so today we're going to be doing a somatic practice that's going to connect movement between the neck and the hips. So it's just going to release a little bit of tension through that whole chain. And we're going to start sitting. So I'd like you to find a comfortable seat. And so as you find a comfortable seat, you might sit on something. So I've got a couple of cushions here that I'm sitting on. You might sit on a brick or even on a chair is fine. If you'd like to sit against the wall, that's okay, just to start off with. So just finding yourself landing in a comfortable seat, somewhere where the back can be somewhere near tall and straight. And if possible, unsupported with your back, but if needs be, have your back supported, okay? And then as you land in this position, just letting your arms land comfortably. So maybe the palms turn up, the back of the hands come onto the legs, or the palms turn in. Or maybe the hands rest down onto the thighs. And wherever you're landing, just let your eyes close and just take a moment to bring yourself into this experience. So notice how you feel as you land. Notice physically whether the body feels comfortable or challenged. Notice if there's any niggles or tension, any sensations of tightness as you just pause here. And notice any internal weather. So noticing how your mind, thoughts fluctuate. And just allowing yourself to take a moment to let go of any plans or responsibilities. Let go of any stories and really commit to your practice right here, right now. Allowing yourself to be here in this moment, committing to this time and committing to a real sense of awareness. Noticing how you feel, how your body moves, where you have control and where you can move with ease. And a real sense of kindness around this practice today. Bring your attention to your breath and allow the breath to move a little deeper. As you breathe a little deeper, encourage the breath in, welcome the breath into the bottom of the lungs. Allowing each breath to bring in things that are useful. And as you exhale, just exhaling that which you no longer need. A few deeper breaths, consciously allowing the breath to come into the belly. You might even bring your hands onto your belly to just feel that, get that tactile feedback. And then we're going to start to move with the breath. So allowing the breath to continue to move down into the diaphragm. And we're going to inhale the shoulders up towards the ears, lifting them up. And then exhaling to move the shoulders back down. Nice and slow. Inhaling the shoulders up as far as you can comfortably move them towards the ears. And then exhaling to let them move down. So let that happen in your own time. Try not to hold the breath, and equally try not to pause or force the movement. Just allow the shoulders to move with just as much ease and fluidity as the smooth breath, as the cyclical breath. You might find that the shoulders are a bit jumpy and a little bit stuttered. They might sort of feel like they sort of stutter up and stutter down. Seeing if you can just slow that down and resist that stuttering a little. So just notice if the more you do this, the smoother it gets. You might notice that one side works differently to the other. There might be a different range of movement. There might be a different quality, feel to the movement. Just making sure you're moving in a comfortable range the whole time. Next time the shoulders come down, we're going to pause there. Keep the breath moving, but just allow the shoulders to feel relaxed. Just notice how that feels. Notice what's happened to the breath, whether you're breathing up into the top of the chest or whether you've still got the breath down into the belly. Notice if you've gripped any tension around your face, your neck, your jaws. You want to keep the whole body as soft and relaxed. Think of that sort of Buddha face where all the muscles are just very soft and relaxed as much as possible. And maybe there's just a little secret inner smile where you're offering a sense of compassion towards your body as you find movement, as you explore movement. So from here, allowing the shoulders to stay soft and relaxed, we're just going to work into the right shoulder on its own. So you're circling the right shoulder forwards, up, back, and then down. Just getting a few circles, noticing how that feels. Try and keep the left shoulder completely relaxed as you move the right shoulder. As you move the right shoulder, notice if the head and neck get involved. So maybe as the shoulder comes in, maybe the head wants to move towards it. So just notice if that's naturally happening or whether the head stays still and neutral. Whether the shoulder that is not moving, the left shoulder, is comfortable to just stay completely relaxed, or whether it's a challenge to try and keep all the muscles around that relaxing shoulder to stay disengaged. Notice if it's a full circle or if it feels a little bit more like a sort of triangle or a sort of odd shape. And then as you're ready, we're going to switch sides. So letting the right shoulder relax, and we're going to circle through the left shoulder, up, back, down and forward. Just get a sense of how this shoulder moves. And again, with the eyes closed, really feeling any differences. Notice if it's a smooth movement or if it's jumpy or jerky. Notice if your right shoulder is relaxed the whole time, or if it's trying to engage, if it's tensing. Notice the range of movement and the quality of movement. Compare it to the other side, but try not to label it as either better or worse. Just label it as different if it's different, and notice those differences. Equal compassion, equal love, equal interest, equal learning from right side to left side. Keep the breath moving, keep the face relaxed. And then as you're ready, allowing that shoulder to pause and rest. Yeah, just noticing how the shoulders land, how they feel. Whether you feel like you've gained a little bit more space, or whether you've picked up a little bit of tension, or whether the shoulders feel fatigued. So we want to encourage a softness. If there is fatigue, then it might be that you were working a little bit too strong, a little bit too much. So allow yourself to back off if you need to back off. If there's any discomfort, then maybe we're working into an area that is a little bit challenged at the moment. So allow yourself to really find a range of movement that continues to be comfortable as best as you can. So we're going to keep these shoulders relaxed now. Keep the back again somewhere near tall and straight. Shift your seated position if If you need to shift your seated position, try and keep it as symmetrical as you can. And this time we're just going to turn the head as though you were looking over to the right side. Just gently, gently turning the head to the side. And then bringing it back through center. And then turning the head to the other side. Good. So breathing steadily. Again, just check that the breath is moving down into the diaphragm. As we go through our somatic exercises, if you feel like you need to yawn or change the rhythm of the breath in any way, please do feel free. And then we're just aiming to keep that breath moving. Keep that breath engaged, keep it broad. So as you're turning your head side to side, you're getting a sense of whether it's different right side to left side. Also noticing if the shoulders try to get involved. So whether the shoulders try to draw up towards the face as you turn the head, or whether both shoulders stay relaxed. Good. Allow the eyes to continue the movement. So as the head goes over to the right, feel like the eyes are trying to wrap around and look inside the right ear. And then as the head goes over to the left, let the eyes wrap round as though looking into the left ear. Just do this a few more times. Nice and slow. Maybe there is a little bit more movement each time. Maybe not. So don't move further than is comfortable. And whenever you're ready, you're going to bring your head back to a neutral place. As you bring your head back to a neutral place, take your time. If you need to go the other way first, then do. And then as you settle, just noticing. So with the eyes closed, noticing. Allowing the breath to move into the bottom of the lungs. Noticing if the neck feels long, if the neck feels spacious the whole way around. Good. And then from here, we're gently going to bring ourselves onto our backs. So as you bring yourself onto your back, have whatever you need. So again, if you're landing on your back, you might be just completely flat on the ground. If you land on your back and you end up with your head dropping back and your chin very lifted, you might just pop a very small pillow underneath your head. Try not to have that pillow too high, so we don't want to have the head sort of tucked up, but do try and find a place where the head can feel neutral and comfortable. And then from there, just landing on the ground however you land, and just notice what it feels like. So if you need to have your knees bent to be comfortable here, have your knees bent. If you're comfortable with the legs straight, then let the legs be straight. And just land. Notice how the body lands, how the body feels. Maybe the neck and shoulders feel nice and comfortable and spacious. Maybe we've just released a little bit of tension from the neck and shoulders. Maybe it's a little easier to find the breath moving into the bottom of the lungs whilst you're lying down. So the core muscles are not working quite so hard to keep you stable and upright in that sort of upright position as you were sitting. And now that they can relax a bit more, maybe it's easier to find the breath into the belly. So from here, what I'd like you to do is bend your knees. With your knees bent, have your feet come flat down. So your knees are going to be, your feet are going to be slightly apart, knees slightly apart, knees pointing to the ceiling. But then adjust that as much as you need. So you're wanting your legs to feel stable and comfortable. And then bringing your hands across onto your belly. So you want to spread out your fingers and have your hands spread across the abdomen. And feeling the breath moving down into the abdomen. So as you inhale, feel the belly rise and expand. And exhale, feel the belly just soften back down. And maybe exaggerating that a little. So as you inhale, allow the lower ribs to lift a little and the front hip bones to move away from you a little. And then as you exhale, very gently rocking those front hip bones towards you. That's an anterior pelvic tilt, a posterior pelvic tilt, and the lower ribs drawing in. Inhaling into that anterior pelvic tilt so the hips just move away. So we're just very gently rocking the pelvis. Exhaling into a posterior pelvic tilt as the navel draws back to the spine, flattening out the back. Inhaling to expand the belly. So just moving in your own time through your arch and flatten. Just get a sense of how it feels. Notice underneath your hands, notice that sort of spread of the abdomen as you inhale. And then notice that contraction and reduction as you exhale. And then what I want you to do is I want you to keep with this movement exactly as it is, but I want your belly muscles to stay relaxed. So as you come into the flatten, I want you to try and find the flatten with the belly as soft and relaxed as you can. Now, if you find the stomach muscles start to grip, then you're trying to pause, let them relax, and then continue. Now, in order to do this, if your abdomen, if your stomach muscles really want to grip, it might take you a good few breaths to get back into that flatten. So take your time. We can allow the breaths to just keep moving, and in fact, it can be beneficial to just keep the breaths moving in and out, taking a couple of breaths to arch, and then a couple of breaths to flatten, so that we're encouraging the breath to keep moving, and we're encouraging the rectus abdominis, so your big, strong muscle at the front of the abdomen, to stay as soft as possible as you work towards that flatten. Good. So doing a few more. As slow as you can, as mindfully as you can, just exploring what it takes to find this movement with as little effort as possible. Let the belly stay soft. If you feel the belly start to grip and engage, then pause, let it relax, and then continue. Keep that breath moving. Notice if there's any points that are your sticking points, any points that are a bit more jumpy or gripped, or just notice, really explore this small movement. Notice how it feels, where you have control. And as we're doing this, I want you to imagine that on your lower abdomen you have a clock face painted. And so as you're tipping the pelvis forwards and back, you're rolling a marble between 6 and 12 and back again on that clock face. And you're doing it with precision control. So we're rolling that marble slowly, slowly, from one point to the next, from that 12 to the 6 and then back again. And then as you're ready, you're going to pause the movement. We're going to keep that clock face imagery, but you're going to be tipping the pelvis side to side. So rolling your marble from 3 to 9 and back again. So effectively, you're feeling that marble very slowly roll from one hip bone to the other, from one side to the other. As gently as you can. And really common here to feel a difference right side to left side. So really just notice any difference right side to left side. And again, with your hands in place, you can maybe feel where the muscles start to engage, to pull the hips over to tilt one way. And then notice as that happens as you go the other way. And you might find that the muscles that engage are not symmetrical. So it's a very subtle movement. The knees are going to stay pointing more or less up. The legs are going to stay nice and relaxed. I want you to notice as you do this, if your feet are gripping the floor or if one leg or the other start to grip and engage. We want the legs to be relaxed and wobbly, just relaxed as much as possible. So if you need to shift the position of the legs a little in order to let the legs relax as you do this, then do. Good. So from here, we're going to start to explore the whole range of movement on that clock face. So you're going to roll that marble all the way around, meeting each number as it goes. And once you've done a complete circle in one direction, you're going to take that circle in the other direction. So just noticing what it feels like to gently move slowly with control as best you can, meeting each number on that clock face as you circle it around. Keep the breath moving. Keep your eyes closed if you can, really noticing that introspection, noticing what it feels like to move. And then if you're liking having that tactile feedback from the hands on the front of the abdomen, then keep the hands there. Otherwise, bring your arms out to the side. Maybe tuck the shoulders in a little. So the palms face up, the arms are out to the side. The arms might be bent, they might be straight, whatever's more comfortable, but just letting those arms come out. Of course, if you're more comfortable having the hands on the front of the abdomen, then keep them there. So as you're circling around, we're doing one direction, then the other. Noticing where there is smoothness, where there's any sticking points. Keep the breath moving. Notice your face relax. Release the tongue from the back of the teeth or from the roof of the mouth. Release the lower teeth from the upper teeth. And then as you're ready, we're going to pause this movement. So you're going to just let your hips settle and land. Take your time if you want to just finish off what you're doing or go the other way again. Just letting yourself land whenever you're comfortable to land. Maybe the legs straighten out, maybe the legs stay bent. Just noticing. So we've really woken up the awareness around the hips and the lower abdomen. And hopefully we've still got that softness, that space that we found around the neck. So we're all going to come to a place where the knees are bent. So having your knees bent, feet flat down, knees point to the ceiling. Again, land the feet comfortably. And then bring the arms out to the side and slightly tuck the shoulder blades underneath the back. Maybe the arms are bent, maybe not. But just letting those arms land, maybe palms are up or maybe palms face in. But just letting them land as comfortably as you can. And then from here, as we go through this, you might choose to move the feet slightly. That's absolutely fine. So move them wherever you need. What I want you to do is think about that pelvic clock again. So you're going to very gently start to move the marble, roll that marble from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock and back again. So we're doing that side to side movement. Nice and slow with control. Now, next time that you bring the marble over to that left hip bone, you're going to draw that left hip bone down. So we're rolling that marble over to that left hip bone. And then once you've got where you can get, you're going to allow that to take the knees over to the side. So the hips moving lets the knees move over to the side, nice and slow, with control. And then at the same time, your head is going to roll towards the right. Head rolls to the right, knees slowly relax over to the left. And then as you're ready, you're going to bring it back to center. Again, slow and controlled. Keep the breath moving. Notice the quality of the movement. As you get back to center, you might need to just shift the feet to neutralize. And then slowly bringing the hips the other way. So rolling that marble over towards that right hip bone. And then allowing that to move the knees. Letting the knees slowly move over to the side. And letting the head roll over to the left. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. Let the legs relax as best you can. and then bringing it back through center. Slow and controlled. You're going to go with that, nice and gentle. And again, you might find that you need to just sort of adjust yourself in the middle each time. Just find that neutral point before then tipping to the other side. And as you tip to the other side, try and resist having the knees go first. So that's our normal thing, is knees go first. I want you to see if you can get the hips to go first and then have the knees go over. And you might have that sort of top foot move over, that top knee move over to come on top of the bottom knee if that feels more comfortable. Just really conscious of the range of movement, letting the head go in the opposite direction to the knees. We're going to do this a few more times, so slow as you like, keeping the breath steady. Try and relax through the face. Again, notice if the jaws are clenching, the eyebrows are furrowing. Gently, gently. Maybe one or two more. So just moving in your own time, moving gently from one side to the other. Breathing. Reminding yourself to notice the difference right side to left side with compassion, with love, and with equal gratitude. Whenever you're ready to pause, then you're going to pause the movement. Take your time to get to a place where you're ready to pause. And as you pause, we're going to land in a neutral place with the knees still bent. And we're just going to find our arch and flatten again, but keeping those arms out to the side. And as you find your arch and flatten, again, really gentle, trying to find it, keeping the abdominal muscles as relaxed as possible. And we're just going to let the shoulders move a little with it as well. So as you find your arch, your shoulders draw down and back, the lower ribs lift, the arms slightly externally rotate. And then as you flatten, the shoulders roll in a little. Keep the arms heavy on the ground as the shoulders roll forwards. So we're just allowing a little bit more of the torso to get involved and just neutralizing through the spine in this straight, neutral position. So without any twists, right side and left side working together as best they can. Good. Maybe it's a few breaths for each movement. Maybe it's an inhale into an arch and exhale into a flatten. Do what feels useful. And then as you're ready, we're going to pause this movement. As you pause the movement, you're then going to let yourself rest and land. And maybe that means the knees falling in towards each other, or maybe it means the legs straightening out. Maybe the arms stay where they are, or maybe they need to move, but just letting yourself find a completely rested position. Keeping the eyes closed and noticing how you feel. Noticing the space around the neck and shoulders. Notice the space around the hips and lower abdomen. Notice the belly moving easily with the breath. And feel the whole body relax. Releasing the need to notice. Allowing thoughts and sensations to arise and to pass by. like clouds on a windy day. And bring your attention to your breath. As you bring your attention to your breath, just allow the body to start to find a bit of movement. Maybe shifting a little in the neck and shoulders, maybe moving a little through the hips. Maybe reaching out the arms, wiggling the fingers, stretching through the legs and wiggling the toes. Maybe letting the face move. Gently easing the head side to side. And then gently bringing the knees in, bending one knee at a time towards your chest, maybe a little rock side to side, and then bringing yourself onto your right side. Keeping your eyes closed, or letting them come to a soft focus as you bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. And as you come upright, let the palms of the hands come together, let the thumbs point inward to the chest, and take a moment. So just notice the breath moving into the bottom of the diaphragm. Notice the space between the shoulders and the ears and breathe into that space. And I thank you kindly. If you have any questions about your practice, then please do not hesitate to get in touch. Namaste.